There is something sacred about a made-up mind. Not loud. Not dramatic. Not always visible to others. But immovable. Quiet. Steady. It is the kind of mind that no longer negotiates with weakness. The kind that doesn't check the forecast before deciding to show up. The kind that doesn't ask for permission, validation, or applause. That kind of mind is built, not born. And most people will never build it. Because they think discipline is pain. But the real pain is being at the mercy of your moods. Being ruled by emotion. Being a slave to how you feel, instead of rising to what you said you would do. The real pain is living a life that looks nothing like your potential. That's the ache you carry when you never learn to command yourself. A weak mind looks for escape. A strong mind looks for meaning. And the difference is built in the choices no one sees. When the alarm goes off, you either rise or you remain. When the plane gets boring, you either stay the course or start over again. When you fail, you either learn or make excuses. Every single one of these moments is shaping your mind. Either into something that bends, or something that doesn't. You want to know how to build a mind that doesn't quit? Stop quitting. That's the first step. Not everything needs to be spiritualized or studied. Some things just need to be done. Most people spend their lives analyzing motivation like it's a puzzle, when the truth is, it's mostly habit. It's mostly follow-through. It's mostly being the kind of person who finishes what they start. You want to build mental strength? Start keeping the promises you make to yourself. Small ones. Then bigger ones. Then harder ones. Do what you said you'd do long after the feeling has left. Because feelings will betray you. Discipline will not. You have to train your mind like you train your body. Through resistance. Through discomfort. Through tension and stress and pressure. Not all stress is bad. Some stress is training. Some resistance is your teacher. And the only reason it still hurts is because your mind is soft. But the more you lean in, the stronger it gets. Growth never happens on the couch of convenience. It happens in the arena of adversity. Jim Rohn used to say, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That's not just a quote. That's a challenge. A mindset. A lifestyle. The immature mind avoids pain. The mature mind uses it. You can't build grit by talking about it. You build grit when you go back to the gym after failure. You build grit when you study after a long day. You build grit when you get up, again and again and again, when no one is watching and no one is clapping, because your standards demand it. That's how a mind is built. Not overnight. Not in bursts of motivation. But over time. In quiet hours. In cold mornings. In moments where most people would justify giving up, and you don't. Because you made a decision. And once a decision is made, the conversation is over. That's the part people don't understand. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a philosophy. It's what you believe about effort. About growth. About responsibility. It's what you believe about you. And if you believe that you're fragile, you'll avoid challenge. If you believe that your past defines your future, you'll stay small. If you believe that greatness is reserved for special people, you'll never even try. But if you believe that your mind can be trained, that your habits can be built, that your strength is forged in hardship, then every setback becomes a stepping stone. That's the shift. You stop being a victim. You stop waiting to be rescued. And you start realizing that everything you need is already inside you, if you're willing to build it. No more blaming. No more whining. No more handing over the pen and letting the world write your story. You are not here to coast. You are here to construct something. Something resilient. Something rare. Look around, mediocrity is sold everywhere. You're told to rest before you've earned it. To slow down before you've even begun. To take it easy, take a break, take the path of least resistance. But easy paths make soft minds. And soft minds break when life gets hard. So choose the hard road. Choose it on purpose. Because the hard road is the only one that leads to strength, to character, to dignity. There's no pride in quitting when things get difficult. But there is honor in enduring. In staying true. In going the distance, even when everything in you screams to stop. That's how warriors are made, not by talent, but by tenacity. The world doesn't need more motivated people. It needs more resolute ones. People who know how to suffer for something that matters. People who can delay pleasure for purpose. People who can think for themselves. People who don't need applause to keep showing up. The real prize isn't just success. It's who you become in the process. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself. That you've trained your will. That you've conquered your own resistance. That you've built something strong where weakness once lived. That's the reward. Not just money, not just status, but a steel spine. A fire in your belly. A calm mind in chaos. And that's what you take into every room, every challenge, every chapter. You become the kind of person who can handle things. Who can hold the line. Who can rise, no matter what comes. Not because it's easy, but because you've made it your way. So what do you do now? You stop waiting for the perfect plan. You stop getting high on inspiration and low on execution. You stop talking about change and start becoming the change. You set a schedule and you follow it. You build routines and you honor them. You make a contract with your future self and you don't break it just because you're tired. Tired is a part of the process. Boredom is part of it. Fear is part of it. But quitting? That's optional. And every time you choose to continue, you prove to yourself that you're not the same person you used to be. That's how the mind is built. Not through hype. Not through hacks. But through integrity. Through repetition. Through principle. So ask yourself, what kind of mind are you building? A mind that folds at the first sign of pressure? Or a mind that shows up anyway? A mind that quits when it doesn't feel good? Or a mind that stands tall in the storm? Because every day, and everything you do, you're either reinforcing weakness or building power. The gym doesn't build your body. Your decisions do. Books don't build wisdom. Application does. Wishing doesn't build wealth. Work does. Motivation doesn't build a strong mind. Discipline does. And you have that power. You've always had it. You just have to use it. This is how you build a mind that doesn't quit. You stop asking how long it will take, and you start asking how far you can go. You stop looking for inspiration, and you become the reason someone else doesn't give up. You stop waiting for the world to change, and you become the kind of person who changes the world. One decision. One promise. One moment at a time. And you never go back. You build a mind that doesn't quit by learning the difference between urgent and important. The world will try to distract you. Every day. Noise, opinions, obligations, entertainment, all of it pulling your attention toward things that feel urgent but do nothing to shape your future. And if you're not disciplined, you'll give your whole life to the immediate, while the important rots in the background. That's how people lose decades. They never learn to prioritize the long game. They trade what matters most for what feels good now. They build lives that look busy, but not meaningful. But the mind that endures, the one that stays steady through storms, it's not driven by urgency. It's anchored in values. It knows what matters. It's willing to be misunderstood. Willing to delay gratification. Willing to walk alone for a while if it means walking in truth. Because the goal isn't just to survive the moment. It's to build a life that reflects your principles. That takes vision. It takes saying no to things that look good, so you can say yes to what's great. It takes being honest about who you are, who you're becoming, and what kind of man or woman you want to be remembered as, not on your best day, but on your worst. Jim once said, Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. That sentence might be simple, but it's the blueprint. It means your mind isn't built by big events. It's built by daily effort, quiet habits, the way you show up when no one's watching, the way you speak to yourself in silence, the way you respond when life disappoints you. Anyone can be positive when things go well. That's easy. But what about when life hits you in the gut? When the plan falls apart? When your effort isn't rewarded? That's when your philosophy gets tested. And that's when most people retreat. But not you. Because the mind you're building is anchored, not just excited. It's committed. Not curious. Not dabbling. Not halfway in. It's rooted in purpose, not preference. And that kind of mind? It becomes unstoppable, not because it's fearless, but because it moves forward despite the fear. You will face resistance. That's guaranteed. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you interpret it as a sign to quit or a signal to grow? Every challenge is a mirror. It shows you where you still need to level up, where you still shrink, where you still doubt yourself. But it also shows you who you can become if you're willing to face it. So the next time you feel tired, ask yourself, tired of what? Tired of doing the work? Or tired of the old version of you? Because most people aren't burned out, they're unaligned. They're exhausted from pretending, from half-living, from ignoring their potential. You weren't built for comfort. You were built to grow. And growth always demands the death of who you used to be. Let it burn. Let the old habits die. Let the excuses collapse. Let the weak version of you, the one that blamed, avoided, escaped, let that version be buried under the weight of new decisions. Because the future belongs to the people who are willing to outgrow their past, to walk into discomfort, to sit in uncertainty, to live by principle, even when it costs them comfort, friends, approval. And that price? It's worth it. Because what you gain is something that no one can ever take from you, a fortified mind. A mind that doesn't flinch. A mind that doesn't fold. A mind that's been sharpened by fire and made stronger because of it. So if you've ever doubted yourself, good. That means you're human. But don't let doubt become your identity. Let it fuel your transformation. Take every fear and put it to work. Take every excuse and confront it. Take every failure and build from it. Because nothing is wasted when you refuse to quit. The mind that endures is the mind that rewrites the story. It doesn't inherit its character, it chooses it. It doesn't wait for better conditions, it creates them. And when the storm comes, not if, but when, it stands tall, not because the storm is easy, but because the man inside has already weathered worse. This is how you build a mind that doesn't quit. You train it daily. You challenge it often. You feed it with truth. You guide it with principle. You sharpen it with pain. And you never, ever let it forget who's in charge. You. Not your emotions. Not your past. Not your fears. You. You are the builder, the author, the architect, the craftsman of your future. And the tools are in your hands. Now build something that lasts.